multiplication and division with negative numbers. I'm Dr. Islam and let's begin. Our learning intention for today is to be able to multiply and divide with negative numbers. Here is a multiplication grid. So we have our first number on this side and our second number on this side. So if we look at 0 and 4, we would put 0 times 4, which is 0, in this box here. So let's have a go at filling out this multiplication grid and see what patterns we can spot which will help us understand multiplication with negative numbers. So first step, we can fill in all of our zeros because anything times 0 is 0. So 0 times 4 is 0, 0 times 3 is 0, 0 times minus 1 is 0, 0 times minus 2 is 0. So anything times 0 is 0. So we've got this green cross on our multiplication grid. That's a nice pattern and it shows that anything times 0 is 0. That's our first step. Let's move on to our second step. So using our multiplication table, we can fill in this blue area and hopefully you could fill that in correctly. We just need to put in our 1 times table, our 2 times table, our 3 times table and our 4 times table. So going down this column, we've got 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So all of these answers in the blue boxes, they were all positive. So they were positive numbers times positive numbers, and they gave us a positive answer. And you've seen this before when you learnt your times tables, your multiplication tables. So what about if we carry on down this pattern, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0? Well, we end up with minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. So in this column, we've gone 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and minus 4. So 1 times minus 1 is minus 1, 1 times minus 2 is minus 2, 1 times minus 3 is minus 3, and 1 times minus 4 is minus 4. So we can spot that we had a positive number times by a negative number, and we got a negative answer in the red boxes. So let's use that principle and fill out the rest of that section. So we filled out the rest of the red boxes, and if we pay attention to the patterns on this column, for the 2 times table we had 8, 6, 4, 2, 0, minus 2, minus 4, minus 6, minus 8, and the same thing for the 3 and the same thing for the 4. So in this red boxes, we've got negative numbers. And how did we get those negative numbers? Well, we had a positive number times by a negative number. So let's look at the next step. So with multiplication, the order doesn't matter. So if we had minus 1 times 1, that equaled minus 1. It's the same as 1 times minus 1, which would also equal minus 1. So knowing that, we can now do our third step and fill in the other section, another section of our multiplication grid. So here we go. This time we've got a positive number times a negative number, and it's the same as this red section and this red section when you've got a positive times a negative or a negative times a positive. But this time where the sequence is going minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0. So we can spot a pattern that's happening. What about in this column here? We've got minus 8, minus 6, minus 4, minus 2, 0. So continuing that pattern, we can work out the multiplication for the section here. So let's, as our next step, fill in these boxes. So we continued our pattern and for this column, and we had -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this blue region here, we had negative numbers times a negative number, and we got a positive answer. So there are lots of patterns that we've spotted in this multiplication grid. We've spotted that we had the blue sections, which give us positive answers. We spotted that the red sections giving us negative answers, and we spotted the green sections giving us 0 as an answer. So how can we make a rule that we can use to help us with multiplication? Well, the rule is that when the signs are the same, the answer is positive. When the signs are different, the answers are negative. Okay, so let's have a look at an example. We've got 12 times -10. So let's just work out what 12 times 10 is. Well, 12 times 10 would be 120. Now let's look at the signs. We've got a positive number and a negative number. So the signs are different. So the answer is going to be negative. So it will be negative 120. Now we've got -12 times -10. So what is just 12 times 10? Well, 12 times 10 is 120. Now let's deal with the signs. So we've got a minus number, a minus sign there, and a minus sign there. So the signs are the same. They're both negative numbers. So the answer is going to be positive. So we can leave our answer as 120. Let's have an example with division. We've got -144 divided by 12. So 144 divided by 12 is just 12. Now let's look at what sign the answer should be. We've got a negative number and a positive number. So the signs are different. So the answer is going to be negative. So we put a minus in front of the answer. Now we've got -144 divided by -12. Let's deal with the numbers part first. So 144 divided by 12 is 12. Now let's look at the signs. So we've got a minus sign there and a minus sign there. So the signs are the same. So the answer is going to be positive. So we can leave our answer as 12.